What's goody, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back out again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. The possibilities are borderline endless for the Charlotte Hornets this year in the NBA draft, because even though it's not really a very strong draft class, there are some very big names and some very high impact players who are in the top 3 in this draft, and there's no one any more exciting than Anthony Edwards out of UGA. This kid is 19 years old, 6'5" with a Takashi wingspan. He is a monster. Easily the most exciting player in this draft. He has good size, he's strong, he has dominating tendencies. This man could easily jumpstart a fan base and maybe even get a team like the Hornets a little bit of prime time spots or some looks against some of the better teams in the league. We would not be just straight ignored when it comes to TV ratings. Now, why do I say that? What about his game makes him so exciting? The man is box office. He has a quick first step. He is a bully when it comes to guards. Guards cannot take him. You have to double team him or he scores, period. And when he's in the lane, he is borderline unstoppable. Very strong layups, dominating dunks. This kid has no problem snatching the soul out of any defender, whether it's a guard or a big at the rim. He plays bigger. Now, all that being said, there are some things that make you kind of question his game a little bit on offense. On one hand, this kid has the ball on a string. He has tight handles. He easily has some of the best handles in this draft class, but he is not point guard material. He is not floor general material because he just does not have court vision. It's either late passes or he completely just misses passes. He sees things, then he reacts. A lot of the more cerebral point guards, the elite point guards, even just the better or good above average point guards, they know what's going to happen before it happens. They see things. They're playing the game ahead of other players and they can pass guys open. They can see what they're going to do before it happens. That's not exactly Anthony Edwards' game. His role on any team he's going to be on is going to be a scorer. In bold, all capital letters, he is a scorer. He is not someone who's going to run your offense. And that's something the coach is going to have to scheme around, because he is not going to become an NBA level passer or an NBA level point guard this year. It's just not going to happen. But another part of his game that is questionable that he can definitely improve on in the summer and leading up to the next season for the NBA is his shooting. The kid shoots 40% from the field and 29.7, let's give him 30% from 3. Let's be real here. That's garbage. For a guard in the NBA, that is not good. Now, whether or not that means he can't shoot or if just that UGA just had a bad play style where he was the whole offense and he was just chucking up shots. And let's be honest, if you watch UGA, he was chucking up anything. Off the dribble, just throwing up whatever. His shot chart just does not look good. The form is there, so I think in an actual NBA setting where there's an actual scheme and there are other players around him, he can definitely get those numbers up. He will not have to just force shots up. There are other shooters, even on the Hornets, who he can, space the floor for a little bit. But that's another part of the question about the Hornets drafting him, is that if he's such a great driver, you need to have a big who can space the floor so the inside, the lane is not so congested. We do not have that. So there's a little bit of a synergy issue there. If the Hornets want to go ahead and draft Anthony Edwards, how are we going to work out with Cody Zeller in the paint? Are we going to throw him on the corner? Who's going to guard Cody Zeller in the corner? He'll hit some, but he is not a stretch big who teams are going to routinely respect behind the arc. It's just not going to happen, especially if your two options are cover Cody Zeller in the corner or stop this man, Anthony Edwards, from driving in the lane. It's a very easy decision. But if his 77 free throw percent is anything to go by, he can become a shooter in the NBA. I really do think that in the right system, with the right players around him, he can become maybe not an elite shooter, but a much more impactful shooter, a much more consistent shooter than he was in college. So on offense, even though there are some things to fix in his game, I am completely sold on him. He has the tools and the ceiling to become one of the top scorers in the NBA in just a few years. But when you talk about his defense, when you talk about Anthony Edwards' defense, the best way to put it is it's just not there. Look, he don't play defense. On-ball defense is pretty alright. He can get into you. He's strong. Like I mentioned, he has a good frame. He can make guys uncomfortable. He can guard 3, maybe 4 positions. Even though he is 6'5", he is good enough to do that. But he does get a little reachy, a little handsy, and you can draw these fouls on him kind of easily on ball. On-ball defense isn't really a big problem. There are things you definitely have to iron out with him, but it's not like a huge issue. Off-ball defense, he is horrible. He is not there. Off-ball, you are playing 4v5 because he is falling asleep. He is taking he's taking a nap. I'm telling you this right now. Anthony Edwards does not play off-ball defense. His man will cut. He's looking around, checking his phone, calling up Uber Eats. I don't know what he's doing, but he is not playing defense off ball. Pick and roll defense is inconsistent. He will not make that play. He won't rotate. He will not switch. He will not come through for a help defense. He has a few highlights here and there where he gets some highlight blocks. But the best way to describe his defense is inconsistent. And that's just the best way. The more real way to call it is, it just is not there. If you are a coach in the NBA, you have to sit this kid down in an empty room with one of those college level dictionaries that are about this thick. You rip every single page out of that dictionary except for the one that contains the word defense. You make him read that page 3 times a day. And maybe you might find a player who can actually play off ball. I don't know what to tell you about that. This is a defensive team that needs everybody to be bought in and playing defense. If you're getting beat off ball, it's just really, really tough. It's an effort issue. Off ball defense is an effort issue, and it's about how much you want it, because you see on ball, he can play D. He just falls asleep off ball. It does not look good at all. But with all that said, I would still obviously pick him if he does fall to number 3. But I'm just a little bit worried that Anthony Edwards does not fall to number 3 in this draft. Yes, there's LaMelo Ball. Yes, there are other guys in here. James Wiseman is another really good center. He's 7'1". I have a video about him as well. But I just don't think Anthony Edwards does fall. If he does, that'd be cool. But then the question comes up of who runs our offense. I like Devontae Graham. He's a good player. I like him. He is not a real NBA level point guard. They're both off guards. Devontae and Anthony are both off guards. They cannot run a real offense. Now, we do have Terry Rozier, but he is an asset. Do you want to keep him for a long time while we have Anthony Edwards and Devontae Graham developing? Do you bring in a point guard later? Or maybe you use free agency on guards and you know we still need an inside presence on the team. That lane is looking real sweet all the time. Defense, offense, you know what's going on here. So there are some questions about synergy with the team, but like I've mentioned before, you do not go into this draft as the Charlotte Hornets with the number 3 overall pick and try to pick for scheme. You will always pick best player available. And if Anthony Edwards is there, even though there are some questions on the offensive side of the ball and there's nothing but questions on defense, you pick him up. You draft him and you trust in what you have in your front office and your coaching staff to make him NBA ready, because this kid could be a monster. I think he has the highest ceiling and the highest star potential of any player in this draft. Of any obvious player in this draft. There could be sleepers. There's always sleepers in every draft. But I think he has the most obvious star potential of any guy in this draft. And if he's at 3, the Hornets definitely have to take him. And you worry about synergy. You worry about a stretch big. You worry about who's going to run your offense later. Take Anthony Edwards. Figure everything else out later on down the road. That's how I feel about it. What are your thoughts on Anthony Edwards? Do you like his game offensively? Thoughts on his shot selection? Thoughts on his court vision, his passing IQ? Let me know what you think about his defense. I gotta hear it all. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.